Level 3 is breathing life into the economy again, but are we still leaving each other enough breathing space? And were things better today? Well, Lydia Batham, with the help of reporters around the country, takes a look at whether we're maintaining social distancing.
It's alert level 3 and the country's abuzz with activity once again. Cafes are serving up coffees and pastries, drive-through queues are snaking down roads and restaurants are serving takeaways through doorways or windows. On the whole, the feeling in central Auckland was that even with more people out, social distancing hasn't been forgotten.
People have been pretty good. They've been asking each other where the line is and stuff like that, keeping their distance. A couple of people sitting down and chatting, but no, on the whole, pretty good.
I think everyone's pretty blasé about it in the last 2 days, as with Burger Field, McDonald's, what's going on there. So everyone's just taken that as the social distancing norm.
I think definitely people have been conscious, and even like with the FPOS machine and stuff, they've been asking if it's haywave and everything like that. So everyone's pretty keen to keep it safely distant, I would say.
A little further south, the New Plymouth was experiencing a beautiful autumn day, with a couple of hundred people choosing to spend it spread across a couple of kilometres of Fitzroy Beach. About 20 surfers were there catching waves. They say social distancing on the water's not a problem.
Yeah, there weren't that many people out there today, but it wasn't an issue. People seem to be keeping their distance pretty well.
Like, looking from here, it seems like most people are pretty spread. I don't think it's really an issue. Mostly your surfboards provide a good barrier between each other.
Alana Broth manages the kiosk, a coffee and food place at that beach. She's not encountered any issues there.
This morning on the beach, though, most people were pretty good. Went for a walk along the walkway, didn't come into contact with anyone, so everyone seems to have that awkward walking around you kind of vibe.
The biggest problem's been over-eager customers.
Put some new systems in place. We put a table in our doorway, which gives us 2 metres between us and the customer. A lot of the customers choose not to go with that 2 metres and want to grab it straight off us, but one of those hurdles.
Meanwhile, in Lower Hutt, there were no crowds around takeaway or fast food stores. There, it was blood services and ANZ Bank that saw queues, with about 10 to 15 people keeping that golden 2 to 3 metres apart in lines being policed by security guards. In central Wellington, the busiest place was the coffee shop Milk Crate, which had about 4 people waiting outside for a barista-made caffeine fix.
It's the first takeaway coffee I've had for, seems like 3 years, but it's not.
That's Robin Albertson, who says it was easy to keep apart from the others there.
Everyone's respecting each other's distance, and it's very clear-cut with the lines drawn out, with a nice little message, you're nearly there and welcome back. So, yes, very, very pleasant.
The top of the South Island's also largely stuck to the social distancing rules, reflected in its COVID-19 tally. Up until today, Nelson Marlborough had not had any new cases since the 9th of April. But a woman in her 30s who works in a Nelson's supermarket was today confirmed as having COVID-19 in a suspected travel-related case. RNZ asked people lined up at a respectable distance outside a central Nelson bank today how hard it's been to keep to the 2 metre rule and if they've broken it.
Me? No, ma'am, I'm a good boy. Well, I'm from Richmond, and of course the Richmond people are well behaved.
Just walking around town here, it's a little bit hard. People walk in front of you and you're sort of like a little bit wary about what's going on.
They see you come in, they sort of go, they completely move away.
I reckon we've been very good, actually. Not many instances where people have been deliberately close in on each other.
And at Dunedin's St Clair Beach, 2 to 3 dozen surfers were out trying to catch a lunchtime wave. Surfer Martin Yildiz says after a month in lockdown, he was desperate to get back in the surf, and the experience didn't disappoint.
It's been great, bit of outdoor, bit of coldness to refresh the face. It's a bit of a battle out there. Everyone's hungry for a wave, so yeah.
So there's a hunger out there amongst them, but in general, what do you think of the social distancing? Are people adhering to it?
In the water? Yeah. Not really, no. Not really. Everyone's just going for gold.
But everyone's, of course, aware of what needs to be done?
I'd say so, yeah. I think people just forget about it in the water, really.
Do you feel that's a risk to yourself, or?
Yeah, in some way, yeah. But I mean, if you're out there, you're probably healthy. I doubt you'll be paddling in 6 foot swell if you're unhealthy. So I think I just trust trust the local surfers to be healthy out there. So
He said St Clair Beach is probably the busiest in the country this afternoon, but it's close and provides good surf. Others at the beach appeared to be behaved, with plenty of space between those out for a walk or enjoying the view. Across town at the Botanic Gardens, James Flanders and his family had the place to themselves.
It's been really good. Everybody we've come across has been quite respectful and keeping the distance, and yeah, it's been nice and peaceful everywhere. I think it's prudent to stay distant and safe, and yeah, it's in everybody's best interest for this not to flare up again.
But the Octagon remains almost abandoned, despite some businesses making their first steps back into the central city. So while the rules have loosened slightly, it seems we're not loosening up our attitude towards COVID-19 too much. For Checkpoint, Lydia Batham.